Hi, my name is Jackie. I'm a cosmetic specialist. This is also Tammy. She's also a cosmetic care specialist. We're here with Erica, who volunteered to be a patient to do miraDry on today. Alright, Tammy, want to get started?
I'm just going to have you lift your arm up here, Erica, and we're going to clean your arm with some alcohol.
So first Tammy's going to do is clean the armpit with some little alcohol just to make sure there's nothing on there, any oil or some sweat or any deodorant. And then afterwards she's going to put an iodine and then sprinkle some starch on there. And you can see where the excessive sweating is coming from. So Tammy just cleaned Erica's armpit with some alcohol just to get any leftover deodorant or any sweat that might be left. Tammy's now going to put a little swab of iodine on the armpit and then sprinkle on some starch just to see where the actual excessive sweating is at. And the excessive sweating, we normally call this hyperhidrosis. And typically it's in the armpits, your palms of your hands, and your feet. For this treatment, you can only actually do it in the armpit. It's only FDA approved in the armpit. And that's okay. Maybe eventually we'll have it somewhere else. Alright, so it's been 10 minutes. We let the iodine test it on for 10 minutes just to see where the area is at, where the excessive sweating. Tammy is now going to put the template on to see where the outline of the excessive sweating is at. Sometimes during the starch test you can't always get the full clear picture of where the excessive sweating is going to be at. So sometimes we'll go through where the hairline is for where your armpit hair grows. We just took off the iodine starch test, and we could see where Erica actually had the excessive sweating at. As she did that, we also marked with a template to see just to give us a guideline where the excessive sweating is going to be and where the template's going to go, so we know the areas to actually treat. Tammy's just going to transfer on the template with some alcohol, some little rubbing alcohol, and just blot it on there, and it transfers over. Tammy just put on the template and she just transferred it over. As she's peeling back the paper part of the template, she is marking with the Sharpie just to give us an indication of where to place the marker for each part of the treatment. And this takes a few minutes just to get it set up so we officially know. We want to make sure the treatment is successful and we don't treat areas that don't need to be treated. Tammy's cleaning Erica's underarm with some alcohol just before we get the numbing going, because you do want to be numb before this treatment. So now that Erica's all numbed up and ready and comfortable during this treatment, Tammy's going to put a little layer of jelly. It's just a little ointment just to make sure the machine glides better and there's no suction marks or any discomfort from the machine just pulling on the skin. Tammy started the treatment after she just put a thin layer of that gel on to make sure the handle glides better and smoothly. So miraDry is actually a treatment for people who have excessive sweating. It's FDA approved for the armpits only, and as she's treating this area, she's using a technology that's microwaved, and it creates heat and destroys those sweat glands. And while it's doing that, there is a phase at the end of each section where it cools it off so the armpit doesn't have to have as much pain or discomfort. Throughout the treatment, we make sure you're feeling comfortable, and if any time you are uncomfortable, we can always add a little extra numbing. And miraDry is actually a permanent solution to help destroy the sweat glands in the armpit to reduce the sweating. So people who actually experience hyperhidrosis have excessive sweating, which means their sweat glands are overactive than the average person. Erica, how are you doing right now?
I'm good. Yeah, it's totally numb, so I really don't feel much of anything.
That's good. So during this treatment, it is normal to experience some discomfort, and if you are experiencing discomfort, again, we can add more numbing to you. More numbing if you need it. But during this treatment, it's also normal to experience some bleeding and some bruising during the treatment. So don't be surprised afterwards if you have any excessive swelling and then bruising. As well, after this treatment, we don't wipe off the template. It will stay on for the next couple of days. That's normal. We just don't want to aggressively aggravate your armpits to make it swell even more than it normally does. Okay, so as we just finished the treatment, we did apply an ice pack on Erica's armpits, and she's going to hold them there and keep compression there for the next couple days. 3 days is the most important, keeping compression there. So keep the first day, tonight and tomorrow, you will be icing every hour on the dot, just for 10 to 15 minutes. If you don't have the ice packs there, we recommend that you get tennis balls and put them in a sock and just keep them there. Just you want to keep the compression there to help decrease the swelling that could build up there. Do you have any questions for us, Erica?
So am I okay to like shower or like go swimming this weekend?
You are okay to go showering tonight or tomorrow. We just ask that you don't aggressively scrub your armpits, just because you don't want to aggravate the area more than it's already aggravated. Swimming, we actually don't recommend for about 2 weeks, just because we did poke you with some needles and we don't want to have an infection come from this, and we just want to make sure you're safe and healing well from this treatment.
Okay. And then I was also wondering, can I work out or like do any sort of activity or exercise in the next couple of days or the next week?
We recommend that you keep your activity level to a minimum, which means try not to raise your blood pressure, because you don't want to have even more sweating, because for the next week you will be, if we call it a dump, pretty much your sweat glands are going to release all that sweat that was building up in there, and it's just going to release it. And that being said, that we also recommend that you don't put deodorant on for the next couple of days, because you can't aggravate that area from just rubbing it and then having a built up deodorant in your armpits or any of the antiperspirants. On the 3rd day, we recommend that you start massaging your armpits just to get the fluid, so your lymph nodes can start processing that fluid and the swelling and get it down, because you don't want to be swollen for the next week or 2, because that would be a pain. And then during that time, we recommend that you start doing some range of motions for your shoulders, because you're going to keep so much compression and keep it tight there that you don't want to get too stiff in your shoulders. So start moving your shoulders, do some arm rolls, and then moving your arm ups, and you should be good. Is there any other questions you have for us?
I don't think so. I think you answered everything.
Perfect. Well, thank you for watching our video on the miraDry. I hope you enjoyed it.